Have you ever wondered what can you do with the kitchen scraps coming out of your kitchen, such as banana peels, peels coming out of when you peel your vegetables, leftover food, maybe leftover rice, stale bread, stuff like that? Well, I'm going to tell you 5 to 6 ways you can use these kitchen scraps for your garden. And after watching this video, you'll never throw away kitchen scraps. Now, the very first thing you can do is bury these kitchen scraps in your garden. Now, you don't want to blindly add kitchen scraps to your garden. There is a technique to do so. Now, you also want to know which kitchen scraps are good to add to your garden and which are not. So here are some of the kitchen scraps that are really good to add to your garden. What I have here is some squash peels, some leftovers from tomatoes. Also have some butternut squash peels here. These are really good to bury in your garden. Now, another thing that's really good to add to your garden is banana peels. These add potassium to your soil as well. Another thing you can add to your garden is any leftover greens or spoiled greens as well. One thing that works really well in the garden is mushroom scraps. Any mushroom that's gone bad or the ends of the mushrooms. Mushrooms are fungi and worms absolutely love mushrooms. Eggshells are really good to add to the garden where you're going to be planting tomatoes because tomatoes love calcium. Now, stale bread is also really good to add to your garden. Just make sure there's not too much salt in your bread. Bread will absorb moisture and also provide perfect condition for worms to hide and feed as well. Mold and fungus grows really easily on stale bread, and which worms would really like. So the worms are going to enjoy stale bread into your garden and they will turn this into rich organic fertilizer. Now, when adding kitchen scraps to your garden, don't bury them exactly where you'll be planting your plants because these kitchen scraps take about a month and sometimes even 2 months to decompose. And while that's happening, they use a lot of nitrogen and they might also harbor mold and fungus as well. While worms will mitigate that, they like to eat mold and fungus. However, if you plant right where you're burying your kitchen scraps, then that plant might not do good while that decomposition process is happening. So always bury your kitchen scraps about a foot away from the roots of your plants. Or if you're preparing a new garden bed, add your kitchen scraps in your garden bed and let it sit for about 2 months before you start planting. Now, here are some of the things you should not be directly burying in your garden. Now, these things take a lot more time to decompose. And these are avocado peels, peanut shells, shells of nuts, etc. that might take 3 over 6 months or even a year to decompose. Now, other things that you should not be adding to your garden is meat products and dairy products because these products actually attract critters like possums and rats, which you'll be digging in your garden, and they can also harbor diseases and even maggots as well, especially meat. So avoid burying meat and dairy products directly in your garden. Now, I have videos on detailed information about burying kitchen scraps in your garden, and also I have videos on experiments of burying different things in the garden as well. I'll leave a link to those videos in the description of this video and also link at the end of this video as well. I've also been working on compiling all the information that I've learned over the period of years into printable guides as well. And I have a printable PDF guide on how to grow carrots and also complete guide on how to grow potatoes as well. I also have a complete guide on how to grow seeds and seedlings. This is a 15-page guide including the cover and the summary, which contains detailed information on how to start your seedlings and grow really strong seedlings. If you'd like to check out these guides, I'll leave a link to these guides in the description of this video as well. You can also add kitchen scraps in your compost pile as well. Usually if you're making hot compost, you're using straw, dead leaves, grass clippings, and you can also use all sorts of kitchen scraps in your hot compost pile. The hot compost needs green and brown material. You can add grass clippings for green material, you can add dead leaves for brown material, and you can also add all sorts of kitchen scraps in your compost pile. Water the compost pile and keep turning the compost pile every 4 to 5 days. And after a couple of weeks or 3 weeks, the compost pile will break down, it'll start turning into black gold. Also, refrain from using meat products and dairy products in your compost pile as well. Now, you can use meat and dairy products in your compost pile if you're very experienced in making hot compost. However, if you are a beginner or starting out, avoid these products for simplicity. Now, you can also use an electric kitchen composter to make compost out of your kitchen scraps right in your kitchen. Now, for this purpose, I use this Airthereal electric kitchen composter. Basically, plug it in, open up the bucket hatch, and you can add any kind of kitchen scraps in your kitchen composter. Now I'm adding banana peels, some rice, some lettuce peels, citrus rinds, and many other type of kitchen scraps. And after a few hours, depending on the amount of kitchen scraps you put into this electric kitchen composter, the black, rich, organic compost is ready. And if you like technology, you can even connect with this kitchen composter through a Wi-Fi app and control it that way too. If you're interested, I'll leave a link to this product in the description of this video. You can also make compost tea using a blender with your kitchen scraps as well. It is very easy to do so. To start making the compost tea, first add water in the blender. Next, I'm adding banana peels. Now these banana peels contain potassium, which is really good for the plants. Next, I'm adding apple peels. Now some people are concerned about pesticide use on apples. Well, these are apples that we grew in our own orchard and we don't use any pesticides. Or you can also buy organic apples that are free of pesticides as well. So let's add these peels. Next, I'm adding some greens, which are the scraps of leftover lettuce. Now these ends of lettuce, you can also replant them into your ground to grow new head of lettuce as well. So let's add these. I'm also adding some watermelon rinds as well. Next, I'm also adding some used coffee grounds that I've been sieving as well. Now these used coffee grounds are not acidic in nature because they're already brewed and the acidity has been washed out of them. Let's turn the blender on and blend everything. I save these milk containers and I rinse the milk out of them after I'm done with the milk. So I'm going to use these to store my compost tea. I'm going to be adding the compost tea right into the milk jug. Now before you close this, one thing you do want to do is use some sort of a nail and punch a little hole in there. Just like that. Maybe you can create a couple of more holes in there. This will help the compost tea to breathe and also prevent other flies and other insects from laying eggs in there. You can store this compost tea in these containers for up to 6 months and use it as you need it. I usually use compost tea in my garden once a week. And when you're ready to use, this is what you do. Now I have a 5-gallon bucket here and I have some sort of a stick or this paint stirrer to actually stir my compost tea too. And I have a watering can to apply the compost tea as well. So first I'm going to start by adding the compost tea concentrate into the bucket. Well, look at how fine and black this compost tea is. It is filled with nutrients and microbes. For every liter of compost tea concentrate, I add another 10 liters of water in there. Then for every liter of compost tea concentrate, I add 1 tablespoon of brown sugar with molasses. The brown sugar helps to feed the microbes, which helps to multiply the microbes in the compost tea as well. Once you have all the ingredients in the bucket, stir the compost tea for about 2 to 3 minutes. Now you can fill your watering cans and water your plants with it. Now you can't really overuse the compost tea. I use it about once a week. You can even use it every 2 to 3 days. The compost tea does not contain a lot of nitrogen and other nutrients that will actually burn your plants. However, it does contain lots of microbes that will actually make the soil living. I take the cap off of my watering can so that the solids don't clog in there. Now you can simply just water your plants with it. It will add nutrients and also microbial activity into your soil. Now if you keep earthworms, which I highly recommend keeping for your garden as well, and you have a worm bin, you can directly feed kitchen scraps to your worms. And the kitchen scraps also include paper towels as well. Then on top, we can also add pieces of bread as well. And we're going to add the greens right on top. The greens should never go at the bottom. And that is to prevent the bin from heating up. If you mix all the carbons and nitrogen together inside the bin, it'll cause the bin to heat up. It will start the hot compost process, which is what we don't want in a worm bin. Just make sure you don't add any citrus, garlic, and onions in your worm bin because worms do not like these foods. The earthworms feed on the decaying organic matter and they turn kitchen scraps into black gold. This is rich in microbial activity and is one of the best fertilizer for your garden. Now, if you keep chickens, another way to use your kitchen scraps is to feed it to your chickens. Now, they will turn it into fertilizer, which is chicken manure, and they'll turn it into eggs. Now, if you want to learn a lot more about how to make your own hot compost, check out the video right here. Or if you'd like to know what can you bury in your garden and what not, check out this video right here, and I'll see you in another video.